fundamental change in terms of manufacturing process and methodology. You know, I was a keynote for the Interactive Manufacturing Exchange Conference in Las Vegas back in 2012. Mike Molnar was also on the agenda. And I spoke here last year, the year and a half ago, at the Big End Manufacturing Conference in Detroit, talking about the future of manufacturing. I've spent time with a tremendous number of different manufacturing organizations, and I've had the opportunity to witness what is really a renaissance in North American manufacturing process. Stepping outside the automotive industry, one of the most compelling stories I ever saw was a patio furniture manufacturer located in the southern US, family-run business. They'd been in business for 100 years. They sold to Walmart. And back in 2003, 2002, Walmart informed them they were taking their production away and they were moving it to a Chinese producer, Chinese manufacturer. And they went through a very painful exercise. Do we close up shop? Do we give up? Do we shut down this 100-year-old manufacturing family-owned enterprise? Or do we re-engage? Do we retool? Do we challenge ourselves in process? Do we invest in the ERP system and tighten up our supply chains so we have more agility in our manufacturing process? And I was with the CFO, and he was telling me a story that, you know, several years after pursuing this initiative, they received a call from Walmart. Walmart apparently forgot to order 125,000 patio swings. Nobody's infallible. And would you be able to help us? And he said they had built in so much agility and flexibility into their process, they were able to quote and they were able to begin delivering product in 22 days. This is what North American manufacturers are doing by challenging ourselves in process, by challenging ourselves in terms of more intelligent manufacturing methodologies. You go to the Magna plant over in Graz, Austria, you know, and on one particular assembly line, they can bring down a BMW, they can bring down a Jaguar, they can bring down a Ford, they can bring down a different vehicle. They have built in so much flexibility, so much agility, you know, in terms of the methodology. I'm witnessing manufacturers who are pursuing post-slot strategies. If we are forced to compete in the hell, that is the commoditization of price, being forced to compete with China and offshore manufacturing, let's change the approach. Let's go to value-added product. I was with a company in the eyeglass space, being impacted by cheap Chinese spectacles, and they decided, let's pursue a different strategy. Let's go post-flat. The world is flat. We're not going to play that game. We are going to come up with a better vision solution, more sophisticated equipment, in which we can get a better vision solution measurement, so we can custom grind lenses, which will give you better eyesight, and we can premium price it. Essilor, out of Switzerland, pursued this strategy with one of their subsidiaries called Satislo, and boy, did it work. We're witnessing significant changes in time to market, where we do not have the luxury of lead time that we used to have in the past, where success comes from our ability to get technology-enabled products to market faster, because we know they're going to have a shorter shelf life, and we know we have to challenge ourselves on the relevance and the longevity of what we are putting into the vehicle. We know that we have seen tremendous advances in terms of rapid concept generation. All the research that is going into rapid prototyping. How do we accelerate our speed in conceiving product and testing product and developing that product and getting it to market? I just spoke to the PGA of America, their merchandise show down in Orlando. Nike is at the point that they can 3D print new clubs almost on the show floor in order to have people test them. You think about that. Think of the video 5 years ago, we were talking about 3D printing as being this, you know, future-oriented, science fiction-like idea. And we can now 3D print golf clubs. And this is happening at the same time that we are seeing the emergence and the arrival of the digital native generation into the workplace. We've got kids coming into the plant, you know, with their iPads and saying, where do I plug in? And, you know, I'm ready to do AutoCAD, you know, right on this device and feed it in for rapid prototyping, shaking up our industry in new ways. We've got the impact of hyperconnectivity, the Internet of Things, which is fundamentally changing what we can manufacture. And one of the most fascinating trends has to be what is occurring with crowdfunding, where we now have the ability for people to conceive of new products and design the products and prototype the products and go out and raise the funds to develop a new company and bring those products to market faster than ever before. Are we prepared to do that in our space? Are we challenging ourselves on time as a metric? Certainly that's where the world is going. What comes with this is a very significant challenge having to do with skills intensity. You know, the typical Cessna airplane today has less technology than a typical truck. You know, that truck putting off 3 gigabytes of data a month. You think about what a driver has to know today to master the vehicle. You know, we're in a situation in every single industry as we move to these hyper-connected technology solutions. It's challenging us on skills. You know, HVAC 2.0, what is happening with these intelligent thermostats? And I know when our particular contractor came into our house, we had one of these newfangled internet thermostats. This was about 70 years ago, before they went mainstream. And he looked at it and he said, well, I glued the wires that go into the furnace and the air conditioner. But these Ethernet wires, I don't know about that. I don't know what to do with that. It's beyond my skills capability. And I said, that's okay. You do your wires. I'll get my 12-year-old son to do the Ethernet stuff, and he did. And anyway, that's a metaphor for the skills intensity which is occurring in every single industry, where the knowledge that we need to know to do our jobs is increasing at an absolutely staggering pace. When I was talking to Volvo Mack Trucks, I was explaining, think about what we need to do throughout the organization. We have this sophisticated technology that can help us predict failure. We need to have a marketing capability, marketing skills that can help to optimize the customer experience and the opportunity that we are moving from an organization that sells vehicles to an organization that sells service promises and uptime. We need to have maintenance capabilities, maintenance skills that can deal with this new world of predictive diagnostics, which is unlike anything we've had. And we've got to have a leadership team that can help to take us there extremely quickly. And the observation was made, it's clear that the real gains from all this technology don't just come from the technology. It comes from the people. It comes from the skills. It comes from our ability to upgrade the skills. And think about, this in the context of what is happening as we move to additive manufacturing. There is a sudden increase, there is a sudden spike in the knowledge that we need to know to do our jobs throughout the manufacturing sector. There is no shortage of work, as you know, throughout the manufacturing sector in North America. There is a shortage of capable skills. I was with a company called Genesis Systems out in Davenport, Iowa. Manufacturer of the robotic devices used in a lot of automotive manufacturing facilities. And one of their head researchers said, it's getting so sophisticated, it's almost as if the typical machine operator today has to be able to do trigonometry in their heads to be able to operate the sophisticated level of what we're bringing to the plant floor. I was with Kennametal, and Kennametal is launching an initiative, has launched an initiative to put machining in the cloud. How can we capture, machining knowledge and put it in the cloud so we can reuse particular tools and dies and assemblies to increase our efficiency? What's really going on in manufacturing is what was stated by a famous educator named Louis Perlman. Learning is what most adults will do for a living in the 21st century. And what do we do about this? Some of you might have heard of Skills USA. Skills USA is part of a global initiative called World Skills, in which organizations are getting involved to encourage young people to get involved in the skilled trades, whether it's plumbing, whether it's electrical, whether it's automotive repair, whether it's heavy maintenance. And I was fortunate enough to be invited to be the opening keynote speaker for World Skills in Brazil in Sao Paulo. 480,000 square meters of competition space. Volkswagen or Toyota brought in 37 vehicles for a competition in the automotive repair space. Bell brought in 37 Huey helicopters for the heavy aircraft maintenance competition. It's staggering to think about what nations are doing to ensure that we are getting people involved in the skilled trades. And as I watched the show floor, there were a lot of folks there from Taiwan, there were a lot of folks from Singapore, there were a lot of folks with heavy international presence from overseas. And I looked at Canada and the US and I was kind of like, what is going on here? Why are we not supporting an initiative like this to upgrade the skills issue? And then we have generations.